doing?
Explain the first column to everybody.
Okay, so
that's amazing.
Yeah, so the first step is, okay, so for instance, one of my kids will call me and go, oh, I don't want to bring you down. This is my phone scene. This is my problem. But I don't want to bring you down. I don't want to, you know, they held it in. They've held it in for days, and they've got this thing that's been bugging them. They didn't even realize it's been bugging them. It's like, I don't know. I feel anxious. I can't put a finger on it. You know, it just. But I don't want to talk to so and so about it because it'll bring them down. I don't want to talk to so and so because I gotta be strong.
So you're basically asking them what's wrong.
What's wrong?
They're having a tough time telling you.
Yeah.
What's wrong.
So it's like, well, okay, I'll start with topics, and so I created a list of even topics to help you jog your memory, or just whatever feels right. So anything. You feel sick. You feel have a stomach, and then little by little, if you start writing one thing down, there's a flow, and you go, you know what, my jobs, this person, oh, they said that thing, and so you just start, you know, just purging on a piece of paper. So you're writing each one of these things on one line, right? And the thing that came to me was, I was just minding my own business at work, typing, doing the database, and then it's like I saw these data points. All these negatives are data points. It's like these data points, if switched to each one of their exact opposite, as if, you know, you went through the looking glass, or flip reality.
Let me ask you about the data point, because basically you're going through your list of complaints, what's bothering you, and are you saying that is a data point? Each one of those things is a data point. That's awesome. Explain the data point process.
Okay, so like as far as the process, well, each thing, like, okay, so you get overwhelmed. You get stressed out with all this negative. It's my job, it's my health. I feel overweight. I'm not eating right. I'm not exercising. All this shame, should, all this stuff, and it's a lot. It's too much. It's like a messy room. You know, it's a messy. You know, you got to get. So the thing is that you don't have to organize this data. You don't have to. It's a mess, and there's a ton of it. You don't know what it is, and it could be anything. But each one of these topics, things that you randomly write down. Each one of them flip, you address each one of them. You go back to the top of the list when you're done, purging, just vomiting all over everything. You take each one of them, you go, how would I want that to be? If a genie gave me a wish, what would it be? If I could, in a parallel dimension, what would it be? Or if I was writing my story, or if I was to write this, how would I want it to be? And everyone I work on says, well, I can't have that, it's not logical. No. We're setting aside logic, we're setting aside what's practical. We're not doing practical and logical. So they flip to each one, and then I thought, I wonder what that would say. I wonder what all those data points would say and what story it would tell. And every time when I'm working with someone and they're saying, you know, well, it's not logical, but can I write that? You know, yeah.
Well, let me emphasize that. I want to make sure that is the place that we start, because Terry already said, you know, it's an assessment. You know, really popular nowadays, I guess, is the reality check, right? I got to stop and get a reality check. And for example, why that has to be the starting point, because that really opens the gate to a lot of the rest of this to start just clipping in there. And it goes really, really fast. It's amazing.
Now, the thing that's tough about that first, because we call this column A, the complaint, your problems. This is where you vent. And the first thing that we go, and you probably experienced this like I have, is as soon as you mention the complaint, we want to fix it.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's not the rule. Finish column A. Keep up the complaining. What's bothering you? What's bothering you? And you notice that whenever we complain to somebody, what's their reaction? The first reaction? To fix it. Fix it.
We'll do this.
Well, why don't you do that? Don't you just fight it? Don't even. Why do you do that? Why do you do that?
No, I don't want to do that.
You have to do column one first.
You gotta do. The rule is follow column A. No fixing.
It gives you the permission to feel that way, instead of trying to suppress or repress or put it back or put on the happy face. I'm gonna have permission to feel, you know, even depressed or anxious or upset or like I'm a loser, you know, or I got all these negatives. I'm gonna feel that for a minute. It's okay to feel that way, because that allows that to come out. And that was really one of the hooks, or one of the things that caught me when I was following Carolyn, you know, as cousins do. But I was like, she said she's 53. She, feels like she's not, progressing or doesn't have this whatever she was saying. She said it better than me. But I am looking at her, I'm like, she has some of the world's most talented children, right? She has kids that are successful, right? In their own right. They are, and they all know that their mom has been there like every second of their lives, right? So that's huge for me. See, that's me as an observer. We always have these observers on and around us. When we say, I'm stuck, I'm having a hard time, I'm doing this, a lot of times the reaction we get is, what's wrong with you? You're this, you're successful, you're obviously talented. And the problem and why this is such a key, this first step of just getting through column A, is that because it's so mirror and so reflective, it allows you, it gives you that permission to say, I'm going to put that aside. I've dealt with that. You're right. I'm suffering from an addiction. I'm suffering from, emotional addiction. I love that because we're caught in this trap, and maybe it's not right, or I don't see this on a TV show or something. I didn't read that in a book from whoever. I don't want to drop names, but you read these things and that's not proper, that's not right, and so you feel bad, you feel that guilt from, your childhood confession or something, and you get stuck. And that's the whole issue here with understanding, when I had that permission, number one, when I realized they were data points, number two, that was the opening.
Now this is something I want to ask Carolyn, because you brought it up before, and I thought it was so interesting, and I want you to explain this. Carolyn in the JuggerKnot, she's claiming that the list of complaints are clues.
Yeah.
Will you explain that to us?
Well, I see them as data points. They're clues to what the solution is. They're clues to what our purpose is. Everything that we've gone through is not by chance. Everything happens for a reason. There's synchronicity. That's why we see 1111, 222, 33. We see all these things. We meet someone down the street, and then the next day, the same time, same person, or things happen. But so it's like it's the things that we experience are not by chance. And so if they're not by chance, and these things are happening for a reason, then those are the answers within those things. And so there's answers in the mistakes we made. It's the things we tend to do, the things we think. There's information. And so rather than trying to suppress or get over a problem or overcome a bad thing, or it's like, does that make any sense? It's like when we're
as a part of the
Let's just
make sense?
Let's just say that I have a complaint, and the complaint is that I keep bumping into people that insult me. Let's just say that. Are you telling me that is a clue?
Yeah. And what, just today at the store, I was like, man, they've got some energy. Oh, they've got some energy. And I'm thinking, what is it about me? So it's like, what are we projecting onto the world? I mean, it's like what we see out there is actually a mirror. It's all perception. It's all how we're seeing things and how we're perceiving things. And again, if we make a mistake, why is that a mistake? We're trying. So if we are doing something and we fail at something, that's a perception. There is no failure. It's a perception.
Because I always go, there's something wrong with me. Why am I always attracting these type of people? What's wrong with me?
Right.
Is there something about my energy? But you're saying that it's actually inspiring.
Yes, and it's also direction. It's also like, what's this add up to? All of these negative things are happening to me. All these things keeps happening to me. So if we were to take the JuggerKnot, you write all the negatives down and you look at that. Writing it down not only gets it out, you can see it, you can hear it. As you write it, you're seeing it laid out in front of you. You can see a common denominator. What is this saying? And then you flip it to how you want it to be, and there's the answer. It's so simple.